what were the shortcomings you felt of C1 at the collective that led you to kind of move away from that model?
Keen to not describe them too much as shortcomings. It goes back to one of the fundamentals I mentioned before, which is that we see, its most basic, co-living as a residential product. It's not a hotel. And when you have a building which is actually a C1 consent, and you can do all sorts of clever things that allows you to have people staying in the building for longer periods than nightly stays and all that stuff, you then have two sets of people wanting two different things living under the same roof. Some people will think that that provides you with a really interesting tenant mix and community. I disagree. I think you probably end up ostracizing one from the other, because the way you treat a home is probably a little bit different to how you might treat a hotel on a stag do, for example, at its most extreme. So I think from the product perspective, I personally think it's a little bit confusing. And I think if you do Sui Generis co-living correctly, it also enables you to, provide affordable housing, whether or not that's discount market rent rooms, pill payment, on-site affordable. C1 doesn't require that. So from an impact perspective, we would probably rather be having some sort of impact as well when we're developing. And then lastly, I suppose, and look, we haven't done C1 for a long time, but it's also from an investment perspective, again, a pretty different proposition. You've got a nightly P&L versus a 12-month cash flow. They're very different. They've got different VAT treatments. They've got one's business rates, one's council tax. If you put that all into the mix in a sector that is already new and you're having to educate people on, it in and of itself is quite challenging. So I should say, I think people are providing a product in that space successfully, and good luck to them. Anything that is providing some sort of home, we're up for. It's just that from a housing perspective, we're pretty clear on how we see the sector. But honestly, it's quite an interesting debate.